Hey y'all, I'm Karyn.
And I'm Mingo.
And this is the Mingo and Karyn Show. Welcome. Yes, we are excited today.
Yes.
For those of you all who don't know us, we have been married for 27 years, going on 28 next month, and we have 4 adult children and a granddaughter. And we decided to start this YouTube channel or podcast first. And you can find us on all platforms, by the way.
Mingo and Karyn.
Yes, the Mingo and Karyn Show. And then social media at Mingo and Karyn. But anyway, so we just wanted to talk to people about and give people advice based on, things we've learned in our relationship, things we've learned in life. And so we felt like the best way to do it was to get on here and just tell you the truth about things that we had to learn and had to live through.
I think we decided today on the podcast and moving forward, we're going to get a little bit deeper.
Yes.
Dig a little bit deeper. And of course, we're first person people. So we're going to always use us as the example of, things we dealt with, how we worked through them. And we believe that, this information will help you, because I know now that I think back, hindsight, I wish I would have had somebody tell me some things so I could navigate through,
Absolutely.
Be able to make better decisions
Yes.
or be affirmed about the decisions I was making, just versus just kind of winging it and trying to figure it out, and then not understanding how valuable those different things we went through made us who we are today.
Absolutely. From because as you all will see later on, as we continue to progress, we'll talk more about the failures that we had, the things that we learned from in those failures, because these are people issues. This is not just those people over there. No, Mingo and Karyn experienced it. Just times that we didn't know how to crawl and climb ourselves out of the hole that we had placed ourselves in some cases, and in holes that we just fell into that we didn't know that existed in other places.
Yeah, I agree.
And throughout that process, though, one of the things I listened to, I was on one of the social media platforms this morning, and this video, we were going to talk about a completely different thing, but this particular video really touched me. Like, it brought up something on the inside of me, and it really opened it up, and it made me cry to the point where I was like, oh my God, let me go talk to Mingo, because I need to be in a safe space to be able to say these things. So I'm grateful to you for that.
You're welcome.
So what we're going to talk about today is don't allow people to label you.
Boy, you said a mouthful.
And what I'm saying is that all of us understand that there is a place and time in our lives when, like I said earlier about our failures or your successes, there are all these labels that people will put on you because of how they see you, and if they're sitting on the outside or if they're judging you or whatever the case may be. So we want to just kind of talk about that today, and how the labels have affected both of our lives and how we are releasing ourselves from that.
And when Karyn came to me about it, of course I just wanted to listen and hear her raw feelings, because Karyn, as over the years, has found a way to, let things go and just forget about it, put it in the sea of forgetfulness, and it's gone.
Yeah.
But this video struck some up in her, and instead of giving her one memory, it gave them all of them
at once.
Yeah, like a lot. So I couldn't imagine how that felt, but I could see her reaction, and I thought to myself, wow, you just need to shut up and listen. And then after I heard her talk through
my face was red.
Yeah. After I heard her talk through what she was feeling, it made me think about myself. And I'm one of those people, like, if you think something of me, it's like, that don't really matter because it ain't true. But I had a moment that came up, because a lot of times when you see somebody going through something, for a person like me, it makes me think a little bit more about it. Not maybe right at that minute, but eventually I'll think about it. In this particular case, I thought about it right then. And I thought about the first time somebody put a label on me. It was a teacher.
Wow.
And I definitely wouldn't say the teacher name. Me and this teacher, we're good. We communicate. But this particular teacher told me I would be nothing. Told me I would end up in jail. And I didn't make bad grades. I was rough around the edges. Those who know me from my younger life, I was rough around the edges. But I don't think I was warranted that comment.
Yeah.
This person told me I wouldn't be anything. I would end up in jail. And, I've been married 27 years. I have a college degree. Our kids are college educated. That doesn't mean that I made it better than anybody else.
Right.
But what he saw for me is something I didn't even believe for myself.
Wow.
This particular person almost broke me. But my stubbornness and my naivete to not accept what he was saying allowed me to say, you know what? I don't agree with this guy. And it wasn't one of them things, hurt people, because I didn't even know to think like that.
Wow.
I just knew it was something in me that was telling me there was more out there than what I was seeing. So I was a person that my circumstances helped change me or make me move in a better way. But I had that thing in me, that little thing saying, no, don't receive what he's saying. He's basing this on, and he doesn't say this to everybody, but he does say it to a few people. And though, now that I think about it again, all of those people he said this to are all successful. They all went on to do great things. So I want to be a voice to say, don't allow a label that somebody says about you. It could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it could be a stranger, it could be whatever. Don't accept somebody saying something about you that you don't believe is true. You don't have to accept that.
Absolutely. I think for me it started very young, and it started with family for me. Being with my parents, there are two of us biologically, and I have bonus siblings as well. And I always felt like for me that, I would see my other sibling get things or get to go. One of the main pain points for me was them getting to go to Disney World, and I didn't get to go. And they took other friends. And so at that point, that's one of the pivotal moments in my life when I began to, I think, internalize like not being worthy, or and then being verbally told, why I couldn't do things, or that my particular role only existed here because, because I just wasn't allowed to do certain things. And so I think that was the foundation of it. And then when I was in 5th grade, and I remember leaving from one school and we had moved to another school. And my 5th grade teacher, I was in gifted classes. And when I got there, literally, because it wasn't very many girls who looked like me in those classes. And this particular teacher, basically, I went to gifted classes, so I went for a few weeks. And then one day I didn't go. And my friend Erica was like, why weren't you at gifted class? And I was like, I don't know. So, of course, I asked my teacher, like, hey, why wasn't I in class? And she basically told me I wasn't smart enough to be in gifted classes. And so
she got that wrong.
She did. And that affected me so much that I used to always be on honor roll. I always got awards. I was good in track and field or at PE, so I always won little ribbons and stuff like that for running and just always achieving and accomplishing. And my life just spiraled out of control from that point. I made my first C, then I made a D, then I made my first F, and it just was bad from that point on, to the point where even as, so I had stuff going on at home, and I was, I was living with one parent, then I went to live with another parent, and so, oh my God, if you can imagine the labels that started piling up. Then it went from that to when I got to college and Mingo and I met, and then I got pregnant, oh my God, and then I'm getting compared to my cousin who is, accomplishing her dreams of finishing college on time and all this kind of stuff. Oh gosh, so then it went from that to by the time we were 26, we had 4 kids, and we really weren't gonna be nothing now. Oh my gosh. And then so I internalized, I think, all of those labels and those voices and those things that people said really began to play out in my life, and I didn't know how to overcome them. I didn't know how to break through that. I didn't know how to say, I'm not who you say I am. Yeah. I'm Karyn and I'm smart, and I was always fighting to be seen differently. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And heard, and it's just not gonna happen. So you have to identify who you are, not who they say you are. And it was hard. I'm just doing it now. You know what I'm saying? And then you realize that when I could look back on it, those labels defined me at a time in my life. But as I began to fight past all of that, I realized that they don't have to define who I am.
You saying that, we had the conversation this morning, and we're talking about people labeling you.
Yes.
People give out labels because they are insecure.
Ooh, wow.
Because your name is Karyn.
Yeah.
That should be your label. Your label should be
enough.
Miss Allen.
Yeah.
Your label should be what you asked to be identified as, not what somebody else think they should call you.
Right.
Karyn with the blonde hair. That ain't on your license.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I used to be Mingo with the gold tooth. That's not what I want to be called. I want to be called Mingo. And sometimes you realize you shouldn't allow other people's hurt to become yours.
Wow.
Because people who typically give out labels, they give out labels to a lot of people.
Well,
but some of them are a little bit more spicier than others. And,
yeah.
and you like, why would you say that? You know, this one person, when my daughter was little, this person used to refer to my daughter as chicken head. And I couldn't understand that because she was not a chicken head. She had nice hair, but this person just chose, and they thought it was tongue in cheek and it was funny.
And we
were like, that
don't
ain't
you ever
funny.
call her that? Yeah.
Don't you ever say that again. Don't you say that to her. Then think if we would have allowed her to identify her as that. One of my nicknames when I was younger was Bad Cat. Bad Cat. And
I always tell him all the time, I know he was a bad kid. I know he was.
I said, listen, until you show me video proof, it didn't happen.
We have video.
Exactly. It didn't happen.
It happened.
So imagine if I had absorbed that and thought I was just a bad person. So now I'm at this place in my life, it's like, what labels have I identified? What do I identify by now?
But you gotta think, knowing Mingo, when he talked about his stubbornness, let me tell y'all the way he remixed Bad Cat in his mind. It wasn't like, oh, you a bad cat. He remixed it like, oh, you a bad cat.
You
like,
cat.
like you the man. That's how he remixed it in his mind.
You walk in the room, you.
You a bad. I'm telling you, a bad as a kid.
But you know, the labels that I identify about today. Another short story. My sons call me Hero. If they don't call me Dad, they call me Hero. And for a minute, and I talked about this on a podcast some time back, I wasn't receiving that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a beautiful label. It was a beautiful gesture. And it ain't like they said one time. It's like I call them on the phone. They're like, Hero. It's literally, that's what they call me.
Right.
And I thought, well, dang, I don't feel like no hero. You know, I don't feel like I did anything special. I navigated myself as a father because mine was absentee. I wanted to be the opposite of him. I didn't want them to feel what I felt.
Right.
Now, I had a granddad that was there. My uncles, you know, they were living life and, you know, they did what they could. But that more pivotal figure in my life was my granddad. And so that helped in my parenting style.
Right.
So I embraced that level hero. That don't mean I'm running into a burning building.
Yeah.
Well, I would if I had to save somebody I love or to help a stranger.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
We helped a stranger before. That lady when they cried.
Man, we had another story. Got to tell you real quick. Me and Karyn coming through this road. We taking this back way to avoid traffic. This lady literally gets hit by this car.
It was crazy.
When she gets hit by the car, her car is just rolling because she's pretty much probably knocked out or something. I see the car. Throw our truck in park, jump out the truck and run to the car because this lady car is headed for a tree.
Yep.
I run to the car, it's fuel leaking. I'm thinking in my mind, this car is finna blow up and this lady is finna die. We gotta get her out of
here, yep.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to shake her. I'm trying to get the door open. And we finally, you know, got her awake and got her around. People started coming out the apartment complex. And we literally was in a moment where we saved that woman's life.
Yep.
We were supposed to be there.
So
that was a hero type moment. But, you know, this is our first time sharing this with somebody outside of me, Karyn, and the kids.
Yeah.
So, but the labels I identify by today, I want to be known as funny. I think I'm a pretty funny guy.
You're a funny guy, right?
Thank you. I want to be known as, you know, this is a smart guy.
Can I give you some labels?
Oh, do your thing.
I'm just saying, you know, I'm always big you up.
You know, I receive.
Kind.
Thank you.
Compassionate.
Thank you.
Passionate.
Thank you.
Giving. Loving.
Yes.
Caring.
Yep.
You are handsome.
Thank you.
You're a brilliant, smart, like you're a very smart person.
Thank
and
you.
you're very talented.
She's trying to make me cry.
I'm not trying to make you cry. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna reverse this, we have to begin to see ourselves. So sometimes we're saying that we've identified labels from other people. So why can't I label you good? Why can't I put good labels on you? And I can erase everything that the other people gave, the bad labels that they gave. I'm trying to reverse the effects of that and only give you good labels.
Well, thank you. Well, let me return the favor.
You trying to make me cry. I don't need your favors.
You know how I feel about you. You know that
I'm gonna look this way, y'all.
You know that I say there is no other person in this world like you.
That's right.
You have more gifts than hundreds of people, and everything you do it at such a high level. You do it at such a professional level that you can say today, I want to boil hot dogs and start a stand, and it will blow up
Thank you, man.
just because of the way the hot dogs taste.
Yeah.
You know you're gorgeous.
Oh,
you're amazing.
I'm getting there. I'm starting to tell. I never told myself I was pretty. Y'all have to see the best advice I never gave podcast. But y'all know I struggle with that pretty
and smart, when I say she's smart, Karyn took a microscience class
in
college
microbiology,
and passed that without a book.
It was luck. I'm telling you.
I had a book. I was like, you need my book? No.
It was determination, y'all.
Yeah, she passed without a book. You know? And your heart. I always say your heart is, the universe can't hold your heart.
Oh, thanks.
You are the most amazing individual that I have ever encountered in my life.
Thanks, man.
I had never met a person like you.
Thank you.
And we have grown together, and even in stages, you were already ahead of me because you already had it in you. Mm-hmm. And I just love who you are as a person, and I love what you contribute to other people. So women, if you got questions and you want somebody to give you the raw truth, right here.
Uh-oh.
Men too. If you ain't sensitive and all, thin skin, it'll work for you too.
Yeah.
So, but I love you for that.
I love you
and I just only see great things over you. And for those people who had labels for you, you got the last laugh.
You do?
Yep.
So I think also where we want to transition from that. So I'm grateful that we got to share with people how we feel about each other, and it's real and it's genuine for us, which is why we're still here with each other. You are my best friend, and you are my safe space, for real. Yeah. And so I think in progressing beyond where we've come from, as all of us, we're literally living this, y'all. This is not something we've done. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna challenge everybody, just like I'm gonna chat. Y'all challenge us, comment,
keep sending the comments.
Yeah, keep telling us what you think about it. But I want us to release the labels and live with no boundaries.
Oh wow, talking about like waking up and just being totally 100% free. And
not being bound by what has been said or what we felt or our childhood or the mistakes that we made or the experiences that we've had that we felt like may not have served us well. Mm-hmm. We've got to get beyond that and live where we don't allow what is put on us to determine how we live.
I just thought about an exercise. Okay. We all do. Me and Karyn did it verbally. Because once I saw what she was going, where you were going, and how you expressed it, that allowed me to think a little deeper. I said, get you a piece of paper, or you can put it in your phone. No, I don't want you to put it in your phone because after you finish with this paper, I want you to get rid of it. I want you to ball it up and get rid of it. Okay. If you are going through this, or if you have gone through this, take a piece of paper and put the word labels.
Oh, I'm doing that.
Labels. And on the front side of the paper, put what they call me. Wow. And write them all down. Write them all down. Flip that paper on the back, put labels. What I think of myself.
Wow.
What label do I have for myself?
Call me.
Yeah, what I call me. And write them down and process it. Don't just go straight to the back of the paper. Write the front side, process it. Sit and think about it. Think about who said it. Who's that person?
Yeah, it could be your friends, your family, your co-workers, your boss if you have one. Yeah.
When you're looking at it and processing it, this is how I would handle it. Where am I with this person today?
Woo. Oh.
Is this person still labeling me and it's making me feel some kind of way as a grown man? Or have I given total 100 forgiveness and I've moved on? Because now that person know not to call me chicken head. That person know to call me what I want to be identified by. And if they're trying to play a compliment, it needs to feel like a compliment.
Or the person who put the label, they may not need to be in your life, so they can't call you nothing.
That's true too.
Sometimes labels are self-reflective.
Oh, and with you saying that, that's the harsh part of it. That's the harsh part, because you have those relatives that play with you, they're playful, and that's kind of their personality. Then you got those relatives like
who taking digs.
If they go be there, I'm not coming. We all got them. We all got them.
Nope.
So on the back side of that paper, now I would hope that the label you have for yourself would be a good description of yourself.
It should be.
I would hope that you're not saying negative things to yourself.
And if they are, though, they got to be. So if you find yourself only not being able to find the good in you, then write down the negative label, right? Write it down. And then maybe what you should do is on the other side of it. So if you have like two columns, maybe, or an arrow, or an equal sign, or whatever. If you say, we're gonna be real simple with it. If you say something like bad, you put an arrow, good. So every label that you even have set for yourself, you begin to change. You find a good label, the opposite of that, and then you focus on eliminating that bad column, and you focus on becoming the good column.
And that's beautiful. See, this stuff is happening in real time, y'all. We have never discussed this
All
writing
it
on
is.
paper. This is happening right now in
Yep.
real time. And we hope. Now, at the end of the paper, after you've processed it, I don't want you to fold this up and put this in your drawer and revisit it. This is almost the equivalent of burning it. I want you to ball it up. Because burning it,
You can ball it up, you can rip it up, you can do
whatever you put in the
need to do.
shredder, whatever you need to do, but get rid of it. But do not throw that. You have 24-hour period. So when you get ready to do this, what we're asking you to do, give yourself 24 hours. So don't do it unless you're prepared to be done with it in 24 hours. Once you dispose of that piece of paper, you have to really believe you let it go.
Yes.
You got to let it go. You got to move on with your life. And like Karyn said, this is the point where you're ready to live with no boundaries. So now you don't have any boundaries. You can see that person, be happy to see him, hug them, and move on.
And sometimes it's a process, so it doesn't always, take a little bit of time, but it's okay. Until you are ready and until you know that you can see that person without feeling away, you probably need to just kind of stay away so you can still process it, because yes, you've written it down, yes, you've thrown it away, but the emotions are still real. So we definitely want you to take your time with it, as much time as you need, but stop letting labels define you, y'all. I'm just telling you, don't allow people to label you. You got to identify with what they're saying, and sometimes we believe it's true, so that's a problem too. So start to reverse the effects of that, of believing that it's true. And then stop letting these labels define who you are. Okay?
Yes.
Stop letting them define who you are, because that's not who you are. Become the person that you see yourself as. Release those labels and live a life with no boundaries. It is a practice, y'all. It ain't going to happen overnight. But I promise you that if you would just begin to identify first, sometimes we can't do things because we don't know they exist.
That's right.
And so now that you know that it exists, it's time to release it. And so we, of course, as always, we thank you for listening.
We thank you so much.
And tuning in to the Mingo and Karyn Show. We are eternally
Absolutely.
grateful for you all. And we're thankful for every experience that we've had in life to be able to provide this information to you all. And so we hope that you have happy relationship building.
Happy relationship building.
To the other side.